Episode 70. Wow. And the results are in from the, voting from the previous video. And, well, I hate to admit it, but I made a mistake and I screwed up. Stay tuned. You'll see how.
Welcome back to the hangar. I'm back after another weekend of missed uploads, but I'm really trying to get these done a lot more often, these uploads. But the last video I posed a question and a few people answered, and it was kind of a mix between do the doors, do the engine. Well, there was a little monkey wrench thrown into all that kind of made me lean one way than the other, and that is to do the engine. And the monkey wrench is, well, essentially the tool for removing the stator, well, the flywheel and all that kind of stuff is in that box, and I need to get it back to Bob out in BC quickly. So that means I got to take the engine apart and find out what's wrong and get it back together as quickly as possible, which means it's the engine that's going to be done. So yeah, that's kind of been decided. So I'm pulling the engine first, and while I'm doing that, I got a text from one of the other fellows, James, who is also working in this hangar with the Emerald. Here, let's go underneath here. And he called me and or texted me, and he said that there's a puddle of oil underneath the airplane. Going, really? Oh, well, let's take a look. Yeah, it's down there. Well, I've got the air filter on top of it because it's also soaked in oil. And that right carburetor is soaked in oil. I've got the oil reservoir disconnected already. And what it is, ladies and gentlemen, is something I kind of knew about. This little banjo bolt fitting here on this side here. Apparently there's a check valve in there, in both of them, so that if there's no oil pressure, oil doesn't leak out. Well, this one, obviously, that check valve is failing and allows oil to dribble into here. I'll bet you this float bowl is once again full of two-stroke oil. So or it might be at the bottom. I got to pull the spark plugs out here and see as well when I drop them if I get a bunch of oil leaking down. So yeah, I have the new fittings for that oil injection pump, the new banjo bolts that have the check valves. Got to pull this apart, pull the engine off, I should say, take it apart partially. I don't need to crack the crankcase open or remove the cylinders and that kind of stuff. I just need to work on the mag side to find out why that stator is not producing any voltage, like what's wrong with it. And while I'm at it, I'm going to change that banjo bolt. Actually, I'm going to change them both because I have two, one on either side, that has the check valves for the oil injection system, so it stops leaking oil when the engine's not running. So yeah, that's the plan. Don't know how far I'm going to get today. It's going to be a rather long work day, I think. I don't think I'm going to get this engine removed because it's a two-person job, one undoing the bolts, the other one holding onto this. And I don't have a crane or anything to strap on this to hold it while I'm doing that. At least I don't think I do. There's an engine crane over there. I might be able to rig something up with the strapping. I don't know. I'll see. But failing that, I think it's basically just going to be a real simple, remove the prop, remove the gear reduction drive, remove the exhaust, remove the carburetors, undo these 6 bolts, and that should be it. I got to unplug the cylinder head temperature probes and the exhaust gas temperature probes, of course. But then this engine will come off, and we'll find out. So I don't think I'm going to be able to drop the engine today. Like I say, it's a two-person job, unless I do see an engine crane over there that you normally find in like garages for automotive engines. But if you can reach up high enough, up here, if you can reach up high enough and I can get a strap underneath this plate and support this, so then I can undo these 6 bolts, 3 on this side, 3 on the other, and drop the engine down and get it over to my workbench. We'll see. Worst case scenario is that I got to come back with somebody else here in the hangar to give me a hand dropping the engine. So that's what I'm going to do today. So yeah, because the tool arrived and it needs to go back fairly quickly, that means the engine gets worked on first, and then I'll work on the doors and that kind of stuff, and we will find out what's wrong with that stator. I'm so hoping it's just a broken wire. God, I'm hoping, because dims ain't cheap to buy new ones. There's some used in the market, but you know, buying somebody else's used is it, you know, was it pulled up because it was a working engine and you know, something else went wrong, but the stator's fine, or you never know. So I'll make that decision. First things first, start the disassembly of all of this. I've already taken a few things off, like I say, the hose for the oil injection supply. I removed that so it would stop dripping, and I'll get that set aside and whatnot. Oh, there we go. So I'm just going to set up the tripod, and I might warp speed through this. Might be a really short video if I can't figure out how to drop the engine with that crane, that engine hoist, I should say, the engine hoist there. If I can't do it with the engine hoist, then I got to come back with somebody else. So that's it. That's it for the update. Oh, I haven't said this for a couple of videos. If you like what you see, and even if you don't like what you see, and you like laughing at me, or with me, I hope, down there, down there, there is a like button and a subscribe button. Hit the subscribe button. That way you'll get notifications, and hit the bell, you get all the notifications, and that's what the other guys all say. So yeah, hit that subscribe button. I'm almost at 400 subscribers. So as of you know, this video right now, which to me is a milestone. It's like, wow, 400 people actually watch what I'm doing. Whoa, okay. I'm gonna have to hire a film crew or something. Not. And yeah, so hit that like and subscribe button, and it helps me out. And well, I don't know how it helps me out. It doesn't, because I don't get any money for this. So, but anyways, it just means that you can follow along. Enough rambling. Pitter patter. Let's get at her.
Okay, we're into warp speed here. I figured I'd run some narration because there's quite a bit of warp speed, in and out of warp speed, and yeah, just watching me move like the Flash gets kind of boring. So I'm going to narrate this. Obviously, you saw me remove the prop there, and now I'm removing some bolts that are holding out the exhaust. I'm going to be dropping the muffler off the system as well, and yeah, just, you know, cutting the safety wires, removing springs. Yeah, it's a disassembly. Now at this point, oh, I slowed it down so you can see me carrying it away. Now I am removing the C-clip and the cable that controls the oil injection. And here I'm using some leverage in order to break free that bolt on the reduction gear drive. That bolt is torqued to 175 foot-pounds. That's up, and just a wrench, no. you need to extend it, and so here we go. I got to say something after I break it free.
Was it Newton who said, give me a lever long enough and I'll move the world? I think it was Newton. I'll put whoever said that down at the bottom there. But yeah, good tool. This little extender works great with a breaker bar. Okay, I don't need to remove this pulley here because, well, I don't. Not to take apart the mag side. If you can see me, I might be off to the edge of the screen here. Hang on. Sorry everyone. There, maybe you can see better. So, just need to remove the redrive, but I don't need to remove this. And well, Loctite works good. These do not want to spin off when you loosen them, which is what I wanted. And there we go. Okay, I'm going to pull this float bowl off because that's the one that is leaking all that oil. And I'll bet you it's full to the brim with two-stroke oil. Let's see. Oh yeah, absolute. Whoa. I don't know if you can see it, but it's full of two-stroke oil because that check valve in that little banjo bowl there from the, sorry about that, squeaking. That check valve is, well, not good. I have new ones, so I'm going to go drain this. Looks like they were both leaking a little bit, but the one on the PTO side is clearly the worst of the two. You got a flashlight and look inside. Oh, no worries. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, sorry for the shaky camera work, but let's see. I'll show you what I was looking at. All right. Inside there you can see there's the piston, but it goes upwards. The ramp, the intake manifold, that's when it goes upwards to the piston on both of these. So the oil did not flow into the cylinders, it flowed towards the carburetors. You can see that. That. Okay, so there we go. Oil did not. Let me put you down before I speak. Make this look like a professional job. So oil could not have gotten into the cylinders, like the two-stroke oil, which wouldn't have damaged anything. It just would have fouled the plugs a lot. And if enough oil got in there with the piston up, if you tried to crank it, you might get a hydraulic lock and damage a lot of stuff. But because it's ramped upwards, the oil leaked forward through the carburetor. Actually, it was dripping through the air filter, but it filled up the float bowl. But okay, so we're good.
Okay, now I walked over and I picked up the, or grabbed, whatever, the engine hoist that was at the other end of the hangar, and got a ratchet strap, and figured I'm going to use a ratchet strap and fasten it to the engine. And hang on, I'm going to be saying something here in a second.
Okay, for those of you who are yelling at the camera, that if you saw that, tying a knot in those straps weakens them. Absolutely it does. Well, that strap has a 500-pound capacity, and I'm lifting an engine that weighs about 60 pounds. If I lost 50% of its holding capacity by tying a knot in it to hold it, I'm still well within the weight capacity of that engine. So, ree! No ree.
Nope, no ree! So yeah, I figured that I could remove the engine by myself using this engine hoist and the strapping, and you will see that it works quite well. I had to lift it a little bit just to take all the weight off those bolts and undo them, and I had a couple more connections left to undo. Of course, the CHT sensors, I had to unplug that, but effectively the engine comes loose, and as you can see here, I got the bolts out, and away we go. Now I'm going to be moving the camera around and repositioning it and such. So hang on a second, I'm going to see something else here.
A little overkill with the jack. Well, it works. Okay, got my winter jacket on. It's nice and black, so if I get oil on it, I don't care. Oh, come on. Yay! Okay. Now I gotta start disassembling. And what time is it? Do I have enough time? Yeah. I'll start the disassembly. I gotta get this tool back quickly, so that means I gotta work at this thing. All right. Now, I use Loctite on everything. That may not have been a great idea. Oh, boy.
Actually, I like using a thread lock compound or Loctite, what have you. It might be a bugger to remove these bolts later on, but that just means they won't vibrate out when the engine's running. And I'd rather, have a bit of a pain disassembling it later and knowing that when it is assembled, it's going to stay assembled and not rattle itself to pieces. So, hope you're enjoying this or getting something out of it. But with me jumping in and out with narration and whatnot. So, anyways, we're going to be going out of warp speed in a second, and we'll let it run that way.
You know, the kicker is, I've got socket sets of these Allen keys, but they're at home. I would make this go so much faster. Oh yeah. Because this is kind of slow. And it's my fault, because I put that Loctite, or thread lock compound, on here. Which I'm going to do again, because I do believe in this stuff. It keeps things from vibrating off, and it works.
Yep. Now this portion over here, I'm just simply taking the engine apart. You've seen that before. I had to use the fan tool to hold the fan and loosen the fan belt, and taking off the pulleys, taking off the harmonic balancer, and then of course I put the specialty tool on there in order to pull the armature, which is like a flywheel, off. And yeah, in a second. Am I at that point yet? Nope, I'm still disassembling stuff. I'm actually looking right now at a few things, but here I am. I'm doing a unboxing. Yay! First unboxing ever, and that's the tool that Bob sent me from British Columbia. And so now I'm just using it to remove the main nut, and now I'm rigging it to pull the armature. It's not really an armature, but yeah, part of the stator off, the flywheel portion that has the magnets on it, and there you go, pops off. Simple. And at this point, I'm going to start looking closely at everything. I walked away. Why did I walk away? I can't remember. I walked away for some reason. And I'll be coming back here in a second, looking at the stator, and that's why I walked away. Went to get the flashlight, and I'm closely inspecting it, and don't see anything. I said something to the camera. I can't remember what I said. I think I said I don't see any problems or issues, and yeah, let's see what I say in real speed. Any second now. Yeah, normal speed coming up. Now? No. How about now?
Okay, I've got the stator partially removed. Let's take a close look at this, ladies and gentlemen. Now, this portion of the stator is for the ignition. It generates the voltage that goes out to the coils. So that's where your spark originates. These are the coils that are used to run the charging circuit. Keeps your battery running and alive, and electrics and all that kind of stuff. Now if we look closely, this side over here, I have good ignition. I'm not going to worry too much about it, but I just give it a close look. There's no broken solder connections, no broken wires. Everything's fine. On these over here, on this side, everything appears to be good. I don't see any burnt. Oh, what was this? Did I speak too soon? No, that was just dirt. Okay, I don't see anything burnt from this side. No broken wires. Nothing. So I'm going to pull this off and take a look on the back side where the wiring is. and then we'll see from there. Okay, well, oops, a little too low, sorry about that. Okay, I'll let you know what happens, you know, with the magic of editing. I found the problem. This is going to be embarrassing, but, and just by saying that I'm pretty sure you know what's going to happen here. There's nothing wrong with the stator at all. All the connections are good, except for this one. The plug that I put on, I noticed this wire here is burnt. At first I thought, oh, heavy load or something. No, then I checked on the other side, the pins, because that's the female side that the pin goes into. The male side, the pin is bent sideways. I guess when I inserted it into the receptacle, I didn't insert it right and it went in crooked. So that scorching mark that that I can see here, let's see if you guys can spot that. Let's get real close. You'll see on the right hand side there it's kind of scorched and melted. Well, the pin is also showing burn marks. I didn't notice that. As a matter of fact, I never even looked in there or in the other side of the plug when I was troubleshooting this. I had assumed everything was good and it wasn't. Oh boy, this is embarrassing. Troubleshooting 101, check connections, and I just glossed right over it because, hey, you know, I know what I'm doing, right? Oh God. Okay, so the stator, the continuity is fine when I checked it from here. So what I need to do is I need to replace that plug on both ends because it's kind of scorched and burnt, that kind of stuff, and that's not a problem. I've got another one. Only this time when I assemble it, you can bet your bottom dollar that I'm going to be making darn sure that the pins go in perfectly straight. Now the reason for the scorching, in case some of you are probably wondering, is most likely, and this is just going to be my guess, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to be accurate on this, is that the stator was generating voltage and that pin being crooked was probably just barely touching, which explains why I did see occasionally voltage climb and drop. So what was happening is it was arcing and bridging that air gap, or the tiny bit of gap there with it was arcing, and that arcing caused heat and then of course more arcing, and yeah. So it was a bad connection, and the connection was my fault. Damn. All right, good to know that even I can make mistakes. Yeah, so go easy on me, guys. I know you're gonna see in the comments, you know, I could have turned around and said, "Hey, I found the problem. It was a broken wire inside or something." No. I gotta show you what the stator. From what I can tell, these things are built pretty solid. It's like a one solid piece. They've got epoxy and so on, just encasing a lot of this, where it just won't shake loose. No, it's breaking a connection on in the stator, in the engine here. No, I highly doubt that can happen. It's got to have some pretty catastrophic stuff happen to it for that to happen. So yeah, it's my connection that was bad. Now these connectors that I bought are rated to, I believe, 30 amps. I'll have to check on them. At 200 volts, 30 amps. So it's not an issue with that. It definitely is because the pin was crooked, and you can see one on the other side. I won't bother taking you over there. Trust me, the pin is all bad. and that's why it wasn't charging. So I'm going to reassemble everything and get this all back together again. And I won't hang the engine today. It's already 7 o'clock on a Sunday, so I'm going to spend another hour here and put a lot of this stuff back together again. And I want to get this back on so I can finish using this tool that that you need for putting it apart and taking it apart and putting it together. And then I can box that up and send it back to Bob out in British Columbia, because he's kind of in need of it. He has two. The other one was shipped out, so he shipped me his that he uses, so he doesn't have any in case an engine goes in and he needs to work on it. He's not going to have the tool to work on it, so I got to get this back to him pretty quick. So I'm gonna reassemble this now that I know that the screw up is mine and I know what I need to do, fix it. Continuity tests, everything else works out. It is, the stator is fine. So, yeah, lesson learned. Okay, I'm going to put this camera back on the tripod and maybe I'll just do a rapid warp speed as I reassemble. So, thought I'd bring you up to date on that one. Embarrassing as it was. Pitter patter, let's get at it. Okay, I'm going to end this here. Yeah, I've got to finish reassembling this engine, remount it, and of course repair my screw up. And while I've got this apart, I'm going to be replacing these banjo bolts because there's supposed to be a check valve and one of them is clearly not checking. So that'll also get done. But I'm done for today. It's it. I'm heading home. It's I'm gonna probably edit this video and upload it tonight, and you'll see it on Monday, which is kind of odd. Normally I upload on Sundays, but today is Sunday, and I'm not uploading today because I am going to be uploading today, but it'll be late. And anyways, you get the drift. Thanks a lot for following along. I really appreciate it. I'm just going to pack up and get everything put away over here, all my tools and such, and clean up the place a bit. And that's it for today. Thanks for following along. We'll see you again here in the hangar. And remember, keep your stick on the ice. See you again. Bye-bye.